Hello, this is David Cohen. It is Sunday. I trust you have already seen my short video on the future of this channel. And now, as promised, as advertised last week, as promised in this, as already teased on my second Instagram account, my review, my impression. Yasmina was trying to collide with the chair. I hope your toes are okay.
No, my toe is fine. I just
Great.
I'm clumsy.
No, yeah. So, first of all, I want to thank the guys at Digital Store Vienna who are not only a great team, a great store, one of the few left on this planet to be a true companion and advisor to those who listen and want to know. They offered me the opportunity to test Sony Rx1R Mark III, a camera I had discussed before. I wanted to see how I feel about it. And I have to say many things I said back then are not going only to be the things I'm going to continue to say, but they have been reconfirmed. Also reconfirmed, this camera is great. It's an amazing camera. It is an alternative to Leica's Q series. It is, but not for me. And you will see later on in the photos that how much Sony has improved in terms of color science, skin treatment, which was always a problem as long as I used Sony, beginning with the A7S when I realized mirrorless was the future and still is, until my last camera, Sony A7 IV, which was already a massive improvement. Not only body-wise, it felt more solid, more, how can I say, more grounded, more everything, more worthy than the early A7 series, but also in terms of color science, but this beats it. The lens is great. People will say, yeah, but it is this and that. Look, you will always find something. Those people talk about spec sheets. I'm a photographer. I talk about how it feels. Every camera ever on this planet, every lens ever on this planet and for the future will have some, I don't know, trade-offs, compromises, things that come with the way something is produced, what it is destined to be, etc. So don't listen to that noise. The absence of IBIS is a major, how can I say, a major point for me. I cannot use it. I can use it as a street camera, but there I have the Fuji X106, which is, yesterday I shot it, I used it again. It's a great camera. But when you are on the market, remember, find your niche. When you are on the market for such a camera, it is definitely worth it. It is worth the money. It is worth everything. It is a major and massive competitor to like a Q series, to Fuji RF100, GF100 RF. So, another thing, as I said, this is not going to be a classic review. If you want this, always stick with HUGH Brownstone, 3 blind men and an elephant, all the links of all the people I mentioned now and later you're going to find. Another guy, Justin Mott. He's also a little bit, I wouldn't say my way, but he doesn't mince words on photography, on cameras, etc. He is a great guy. I love to see his content. Another one, Pal to Tech for Fuji. If you need anything of this, these are the 3 people. What I'm talking about in this video is how I feel about it, how I use it. All the photos you see are straight out of cam. Nothing has been changed. No cropping, no alignment, no nothing. I just took them the way they are. I photographed in JPEG. I have photographed fully automatic because I wanted to see what the camera does, not what I do. It is not about my photography. It is to show and showcase, highlight what the camera does. Even though fully automatic, I had the lens on f2 maximum aperture. Nearly all the photos, with one exception, are with automatic white balance. And the results are sometimes really, not sometimes, are stunning. In one of the clips that you will see during the test, I said that Sony's viewfinder was brighter, nicer than Leica's. It was a mistake. When I looked through the Leica, I realized I made a mistake. I simply was overwhelmed with the feel and everything. It is a great camera. I can only recommend it. It is just not for me. And truth be told, I'm happy because I don't spend sleepless nights on thoughts. How will I justify for myself? I don't have to report to anybody. Nevertheless, what I said about the camera back then stands, and now I have things to show you why it stands. See you later. So this is David Cohen. As I wrote in my community note, I have the unique opportunity to test a camera that I had discussed about. This is not going to be a camera review in the classic sense. I keep telling you since the earliest day of my channel's existence, HUGH Brownstone is the one if you want to know, really know about a camera. What I'm going to do, and what I have been doing until today and will continue to do, is to talk about how I see things, trends, opinions, whatever, and how it feels from my point of view, which is quite niche because of my job. Now, guess what this is? This is the Leica Q3 43. We know this is my main camera, and I'm going to use it today as a comparison. Now, many of you will remember that we had some camera releases recently, and with this density of camera releases, you forget. So this is quite controversial camera, but it sells excellently in Japan, across Asia, and it is the Sony Rx1R Mark III. I was always a fan of this camera. I would have never, and I will never buy it. Why? It doesn't have IBIS. I need IBIS. First of all, because of my hands. Today is a not so good day. So without IBIS, a lot of my photography is happening at enclosed areas, so rooms, hotels, apartments, with high ISO, low light, because I don't use artificial light. Now, the feel of this camera is, just a moment. Here we have the legendary Zeiss lenses. The feel of this camera is extremely high value. It really feels excellent. Even though it is such a small camera, I'll compare it to the Leica Q3, also from top. Yeah. You see the Leica metal part here, the top plate. It is not shiny, but it is not matte as Sony's, which feels also very, very. I just turn it around. Now, the next controversial thing, the Sony doesn't have tilting or any way moving back display. You see, and still these two cameras are in the same category. I would love for that camera to have IBIS. I would even buy it just because it is such a beautiful and capable camera. Now, that was the size comparison. Now, when you look at, you don't see it how it feels, but I hold it in my hands. I used Sony for a long time, the Alpha series, but they also never, it was always a matter of the brain, never a matter of the heart. This is something I wouldn't say I'm emotional about, but it is something that I really love. It feels good. It has this Zeiss Sonar, a legendary lens. Everything feels very high value. Now, the viewfinder is very, very good. I like the colors. I like everything about it. I will quickly have a look through the optical. It is small. Where is the, I just got it. Where is the, it is very, very bright. This is something I appreciated with Sony. And this one is even better than my last. I'm not talking about specs. I'm talking about how I feel it, how I see it when I hold it in my hands, when I put it to my eye. I don't care about the specs. For me, it's important how do I feel. Very, very bright. The autofocus is, I have to say, extremely good. We know that of Sony, from Sony. So this is really a camera I would see myself buying. Here in Austria, so we came deliberately to Austria because our friends at Digital Store offered me the opportunity to use this camera and to talk about it. I'm absolutely free to say what I want. Nobody said anything. I can say what I want. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about it. So I have no obligations. That is very important to me. And as those who accompany me for a longer time, they know that, yeah, I used Sony for a long time because I saw the merit of mirrorless, but it was never a matter of the heart, and I hated the color science. Today I will find out, and you will see the photos, how it handles skin tones in normal daylight, but we will also try to see how it works in darker, less light, less lightful, new, less lightful conditions. But what I can say is, even though, look at I have big hands. And even though this camera, I usually with the Sony A7 series, I always, or for a long time, had this additional battery grid. The A7 IV was the first one I used without because they finally did enough to the body. But look, even though, and I also don't have any sunburst, but it fits naturally. I like it very much. See you later. I just had the opportunity, not the opportunity, I just took a few shots until I realized that taking these photos, so first I took some auto setting photos. Then I took some photos deliberately taking lower shutter speed, which is typical for me, is 60, 40, 30, until I realized that I had my elbows on the table. Now, I also moved back and took photos of Yasmina and the environment with uh, higher and lower aperture settings in manual, together with a quite low shutter speed. And we will see at home if these photos are sharp. I will also try it indoors in some store. We are going to go in some store, maybe a bookstore, so that I can see how, for example, artificial light of a hotel, of a store, which happens to me that I use it this way. One thing I have to say is my first impression of very high quality feel and haptics is excellent. It has the best haptics and feel I ever experienced with a Sony camera. So my Sony experience, to sum it up, was A7S, A7S Mark II, A7R Mark III, and A7 IV, which had the best body and an already improved color sense. The display, the viewfinder, is brighter than Leica's. I cannot really make a photo of it. It is definitely brighter, but Sony cameras are known for that. The shutter button feels, and the shutter feels very, very good, very solid. Everything is solid, but not tank, but high quality. And I love the noise of the shutter release.
Let's hear it.
That show, you have to come closer. Wait a moment, people are coming.
Yeah, I had that.
It is solid. It is. Everything feels excellent. I have seen the Sony A1, the first iteration, very good body, but still nothing ever, in my experience and my feel, comes close to this. This is really, really a good camera, and I can see myself. Of course, I'm not moving away from Leica, don't get me wrong. But other than this, and we are talking about a 5K euro camera here, I don't have any problems paying that money if I was on the market for such a camera. See you later. I struggled to find the, you know, my eyes are very poor, so I need to set this thing right. Brilliant from Sony. So you hold it, because usually you kind of do it like this or that. Even with um, Leica, it could have been a little bit better. It is much better than many companies, but look how brilliant they do it. You look through it, and with the second hand, very easily, you turn this wheel. I'm in love with this camera, and it has this typical, a little bit, no, very bright, very, very bright viewfinder. I love it. It is already now, my views are confirmed that this is a competitor to the Q series. How much it is, we will see, and I'm talking about me. Your mileage may differ, may vary, but I'm talking about me because I'm doing this. See you. Now we are going to see some close-ups in a store, all natural light. Just look at the crispy, sharp photos, very closely taken. The same here, beautiful colors. I'm not used to this level of color reproduction. Here we are inside stores, still their available light in different color shades, etc., you see it looks very natural, very sharp, very beautiful. I didn't do much. I just kept shooting. Here you see a little bit of blur already because no ibis. Same here. The light was changing, but look at the detail. Look at the beautiful reproduction of light. Same here, and you see Yasmina's skin color was always a problem with Sony. Here, under such harsh light, depth of field, great. We have two different groups of photos of this category. This is a house entrance. Undercover, you see, even though beautiful light, very beautiful skin tones, very natural, totally unused. I'm not used to that, but you see a light blur. Why? My hands, no ibis. But still, I am amazed at Sony's color science here. The skin tones look amazing. And I was so disappointed. Here we are indoor and much closer to the user scenario. Here we see a remote echo of what I was struggling with. And you see how the skin tone changes, but still so much better than I ever was used to. This is a tungsten white balance setting. And still, totally unedited. Here you see, unfortunately, still Sony. I agree, it is a different, difficult light situation, but yeah, and you see blurry. Last but not least, we come to actually the beginning of my test. You see, Yasmina is moving towards me. Beautiful color reproduction. I never had it like this. Look at her skin tones. I can't believe this is a Sony camera. But you also see, it is an amazing image quality. And this is only JPEG. Look at this. There's nothing I have done. Again. And you also see the dynamic range. You see the colors in the shadows. Here, please look at the small stripe under the first blurred bar, and you see so much detail. You see the highlights, they are still not blown out here. Wonderful color reproduction, wonderful. The photo itself is not so particular, but you know what I mean. Go from the darkest to the brightest. Look here at the back of the van. It is still sharp. There is nothing mushy or whatever. This is a photo I actually like very much. You will find it in an edited version. It also shows you, because it was taken in the shadow, this is some kind of sunroof. This is, as you see, 1/2000. There is ISO 100. Very bright, deliberately bright. But look at this. Same here. I am really amazed with this progress Sony made here.